everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, this week we're going to take a look at a slow Mark Knopfler style lead, played with a pick. And I know Mark doesn't use a pick, he uses his 3 fingers with his right hand. But so I cheated a little bit there. But the point isn't necessarily to show you Mark Knopfler technique, but it's about the style of notes that he chooses when he plays, especially when he's playing these nice, slow, melodic ballads that he does. And so this video, we're going to focus on the solo part. But for Active Melody Premium members, I'm going to show you how to play the rhythm part. Now, the rhythm part was played without using a pick, so I was using just my fingers with that, and that's how Mark would have played that rhythm. So that part. So I'll show you that with the alternating thumb as well. Also, if you want to download the jam track so that you can practice along with the solo, you'll want to go to ActiveMelody.com and look for EP059. And I've got the tablature as well, so all of that will be available for premium members. So you'll be able to get the part 2 video, learning how to play the rhythm, the tablature, and the jam track. But in this lesson, we're going to break down note for note all of the notes that I played in the lead part. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you're a premium member, you're definitely going to want to check out the rhythm track. There's a lot of learnings there to get that finger style, and that's really more of something Mark would do. If he were playing rhythm, more of his style of playing rhythm. The other thing too, I should mention is I didn't mention in the intro is I've included a slow version of the jam track for practice, so you can practice the rhythm part or the lead part. So there's actually 2 versions of the jam track. You've got the tempo that I played in the intro and then a slower version. But let me go ahead and let's break down this lead. Now, this is in the key. This first chord is an A chord, and so your root fret, again, I always think in terms of the root fret when I'm playing a lead. Your root fret is the fret that you would bar if you're playing a bar chord. So since we're playing in the key of A, you would fret here on the 5th fret, and that's where your bar would be. And so that now is where I can derive at pattern 1 of the, if I were playing blues, I always think in terms of blues. That's just how my brain thinks. But the blues scale, the minor pentatonic scale rather, would be right here in this position. So all your blues notes would be up here. Now what I played and what Mark Knopfler would play oftentimes when he's doing a solo is he'll go into the major scale, and you get a much happier, more melodic sound. It's not quite so bluesy and dreary. But what's nice is when you can work in a little bit of blues in with that. You get a real soulful sounding solo. So to shift to the major scale, and you'll remember this trick. And by the way, if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about with root fret and all of this stuff, it's all covered in the blues lead course at ActiveMelody.com for premium members. So check that out if you're interested. But the little trick that I always used to get from the minor pentatonic scale down to a major scale is to take that root fret and shift everything down 3 frets, and by down I mean this direction. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So now we're down here. Pattern 1 becomes kind of a home base for playing a solo if you want a happier sound, like a major scale sound. So then the notes in the major pentatonic scale would be, and then the major scale itself is the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So there's a few extra notes that you throw in to get the do, re, mi thing. But that becomes your boundary, and so now that you've got that, you can derive at all these really cool solos. So I just wanted to put that in as a reference so you know where we're coming from. So the notes that I played, that was the first thing I did, and you can see it's right there in our pattern 1 of the major scale for the key of A. What I did was I started on the 2nd fret 3rd string. And I played string 3, so it's on the 3rd string, but I played fret 2, then it's fret 4. Then I came up here and played fret 2, string 2. Those are the first 3 notes. Then I walked it up and then walked it back down, and then back to the 4th fret 3rd string, back to the 2nd fret 3rd string. And then the final note in that little run was the 2nd fret, 2nd string. So altogether it sounds like this. Now if Mark were playing this, he would not be using a pick, he'd be using these 3 fingers. So he'd be going. But I thought that for it gets a little more advanced to do that, and so I thought it would be good to at least show you how to play the notes with a pick. If you want to become adventurous and you know, kind of put the pick down and go 3-finger style, go for it. But all right, so the second time through I went. Let me show you that. And I stole that run directly from Mark and watching him play and something in Ragpicker's Dream. I can't remember what song it was, but I love that. It's a great little lick. So we've already covered that. Now here's what I played. Then I went. Let's get that. So what I'm doing there is I'm coming up to the 2nd fret, 2nd string, and I'm going to do a hammer on to the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and then a pull off. So notice I'm just picking that once. So all together it sounds like this. Now I did another hammer on there to the 4th fret, 3rd string. And it's just easier for me, now you may want to pick that note, but it's easier for me just to hammer that on. So to play, I'm only picking one time there. I'm picking right there on the 2nd fret, 2nd string. You can see those other notes. I'm doing pull-offs and hammer-ons. Now I'm going to come down to the 2nd fret, 3rd string. I'm going to pick that. And as soon as I pick it, I'm going to slide down 1 fret. So I'm not picking that, I'm just sliding into that note. And then I'm going to take my ring finger here on with my left hand and come down to the 4th fret, 4th string, and play that note. So let's put those 2 pieces together now. So we have. And then the second time through, I went. Alright, so after this note, we're going to come back up here to the 1st fret, 3rd string, and then up to the 2nd fret, 3rd string. So, and then we're going to come down and play this. So what I'm doing there is I'm coming back to the 4th fret, 4th string, and then back to the 2nd fret, 4th string. But then I'm going to go ahead and kind of bar there with my pointer finger, so that I'm going to play the 4th string, the 3rd string, both on the 2nd fret. Then my ring finger comes back to the 4th fret, this time on the 3rd string. So let me back that up so we have. And then we're going to come to the 2nd fret, 2nd string for that note. All right, before we move on, let's put it all together. So we have first time, okay, and then I did this little trill thing, which Mark does a lot. And what I'm doing there is I'm just going between, so I've got my pointer finger down on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and I'm going to do a hammer on and a pull off. And as soon as I do, so notice I'm just picking this once. As soon as I do the pull off, I'm going to go ahead and slide down to the 1st fret on the 3rd string, which we've already played that note, but we're just sliding into it again. And after I do that, then I'm going to come back and just play all on the 3rd string. I'm going to play 2nd fret and then the 4th fret. So, then I went. So then I just do that bend, and the bend is really a full bend on the 4th fret, 3rd string. I just do go ahead and bend it before I pick it, and then release it. So you're playing that note, and then you're playing the 4th fret, 4th string without the bend once you come down to the release. And then we're going to come down to the 2nd fret, 3rd string. And that's all that bend is happening on the 3rd string, by the way. It starts on the 4th fret. Gives a little bit of a country feel. And Mark Knopfler will do a lot of little country style licks like that. He's kind of a nice hybrid between, I don't know, blues and country to me. So now after that I just came and did that, and all I did there was just do a hammer on between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret on the 4th string, and then the final note is the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Alright, so let's go ahead and piece it all together, this first little phrase. So here's what we have. Okay, that's part 1. Now, then we come up and play part 2, which goes... And you can tell that these notes are, they're kind of harmonizing. Some of it's accidental, but they're harmonizing with what the rhythm is doing. And the reason that they all work, though, just remember the scale that we're in. So all these first notes that I played, they're all in that major scale for the key of A. So remember, your blues scale, or the minor pentatonic, is up here on the the 5th fret. But when you slide everything down 3 frets, you get into that happier, more melodic sounding scale, and it allows you to play all these extra notes. Just remember, if you want to add in those the notes that make it do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you're getting out of the pentatonic. Pentatonic is only those 5 notes, but you can tell which. There's only a couple of notes. I think it's just 2 that you have to add to get the extra notes. So that's what allows you to play like this note, for example. That would be in do, re, mi. So see where that is? And that's why it works. So if you just think of that little melody, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you can play lots of great solos. Just try and find it with your ear. And so some of it will be dissecting it in the beginning and trying to just work with little phrases that you learn. And don't try and take on too much. Just take one little phrase and something like that, and just work it over and over again. Just really get comfortable with. Just remember, you're learning to speak a new language, so you're starting with simple little words, and then you can get into more advanced phrases down the road. But start by just being able to communicate. Okay, so now when we go to the second part, we're up in pattern 2. So this was all in pattern 1, so now we're in pattern 2 of the major scale. So the same patterns apply that you learn in the blues lead course at Active Melody. Same patterns from the blues scale apply here, or from the minor pentatonic scale apply here. So that's why when you think of it that way, when we think of that as being pattern 2, all of a sudden you can visualize where it is on the neck. Go, okay, I got it. I see now why those notes work. So then you can start to kind of come up with your own little phrases. So we're going to start here on the 2nd string, 5th fret, and I'm going to do a hammer on to the 7th fret, 2nd string. And then I'm going to come up and play the 5th fret, 1st string. Those are the first 3 notes. Then we're going to come back to the 7th fret, 2nd string, back to the 5th fret, 2nd string, and then the last note is right there, which is the 6th fret, 3rd string. Those are your first little notes in that first little phrase. Remember, we're putting together words to make a sentence, so that's a word. And here's the next word. So for that, we're going to take the middle finger, we're going to come down to the 3rd string on the 4th fret, and we're going to slide up to the 6th fret, just like that. Then I'm going to place fret 5, string 2, back to the 6th fret, 3rd string, and now we're going to do another hammer-on between the 5th fret and the 7th fret on the 2nd string, and then we're going to land on the 5th fret, 2nd string. So that little phrase, or that little word rather, sounds like this. Alright, so let's put the two words together. We have the first word, and then the second word is. Okay, after that, then I went. And for that, I'm going to take my ring finger and come to the 2nd string on the 7th fret. Then I'm going to take my pointer finger and come up to the 4th fret, 1st string. Middle finger to the 5th fret, 1st string. And then I'm going to do this little hammer-on pull-off. It's actually a hammer-on, let's see, pull-off, hammer-on. That's what you're going to try and do. Let me do it slowly. Hammer-on, pull-off, hammer-on. So that last hammer-on is with my ring finger on the 7th fret, 2nd string. So let me put it in context. So what we're trying to do here is we're going. Again, it's one of those little trill things that you'll hear Mark Knopfler doing a lot. So let me see it slowly. So in the beginning, just try and get it slowly so that you've got the mechanics of it down. Just notice the right hand, only picking one. And just try and get that pointer finger, just keep it anchored there. And then the last note there is the 5th fret, 2nd string. Alright, so let's put the pieces together. First one. Okay, then we're. Now after that, I went. And again, these are just notes that we played, but I just went between. I did a hammer-on again between the 5th fret and the 7th fret on the 2nd string. Then middle finger comes down on the 6th fret, 3rd string. Okay, and then I play these notes that kind of harmonized with the E part. And all I'm doing is all of these are played. These next 3 notes are played on the 2nd string. So we start on the 3rd fret, then we come up to the 5th fret, and then we come up to the 7th fret. So where your dots are on your neck. And then we ended that on the 5th fret, 2nd string. And then I went to get back into the intro there. And again, that's how we ended the first part, but it's just a pre-bend release on the 4th fret, 3rd string. Gives it that kind of country feel. And then the final note there is the 2nd fret, 3rd string. So let me play that whole second part. And then we're right back in position to play that loop again. Or at this point you could go on and make up your own solo. And hopefully with the extra little explanation of the boundaries that we're working within, hopefully some light bulbs are going off with you and you're able to at least see where we're at, so that you can start to come up with your own licks. And it really does help once you know your boundaries, because you can listen to someone like Mark Knopfler and you can at least understand why what they're doing works, and then kind of what and it makes it more interesting, I think, because you can see how kind of creative some of these artists are, because we're all working within the same boundaries, and we just do different things with those notes and come up with different words and different ways to articulate a point.